Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Beat Reviews here from Accurate Beats on the Accurate Beats YouTube channel. Yeah. Hello and welcome. It's nice to be back. It's been a little bit of a, it's been some time. And there are reasons for that I'm not going to get into, but here we are. So if I'm not misremembering totally, last week we went live, but we didn't do a beat review. I just sat here and made music, and that was really enjoyable for what it was. But today we are doing another episode of my usual beat review live stream. That I've done a lot of Mondays consecutively, but last week was what it is, what it was, and the week before that was even crazier, and I just didn't do anything. With all that said, fuck it. We are here. Starting the stream a little bit late. I'm at like 15 minutes late, and I think that's fine. That's what it is. Life is messy and stressful, but here we are. And what we're doing today is basically just to listen to some music. You guys are welcome to submit your own beats to this show, and we're going to try to do everything as live as possible. So you're going to be able to submit your beats to me from my website on accuratebeats.com in just a bit. I'm going to have to go into my website to kind of get everything set up with about the form and stuff. And then there's a form for you guys to like go into and submit a quick message and your name and whatever, and also an audio file that has to be less than 10 megabytes, and then just submit that entire thing, and it's going to arrive here, and we're going to play it. We're going to talk about all the beats and all the stuff and all the details. I like that snare drum. I don't like that bass line. What's up with the tempo? All that kind of stuff. Giving some feedback, hopefully some like constructive criticism. And it's not just me, it's also all of you guys in the chat room. Everyone's gonna come together to bring this whole thing into a show. But before that, let's just chit chat for a few minutes and then open up the form on my website, because I have to check back in, because the system is always throwing me out of it. And logging into things with two-step authentication stuff, it's always a hassle. But we are live, and I'm happy about that, and I'm glad to see a lot of people in the chat room already. Let's see. My headphones is a little bit loud. That's a lot better to me. Cool. Yeah, Made So Well is helping me out in the chat room, trying to explain how things will be handled. So, I'm not accepting beats from email or on Instagram or anything. Everything is done through my website. Accurate down here? Right about? Yeah. AccurateBeats.com. That's the place you want to go to. AccurateBeats.com, and then you have this little beat review section. And right now, there's not going to be much, but in a couple of minutes, maybe 8 minutes, I don't even know, you're going to be able to just jump in there and submit your beat, and it's going to arrive. And this show is aiming to make 2 hours of this, but sometimes it becomes more. Hopefully, we're gonna do this for 2 hours today. Not more, not less. But, you know, I can't promise anything like that. Life's just what it is, and everything is messy, and this entire concept is, you know, kind of crazy. And we have received tonight's first super chat from our friend Made So Well. I'm gonna do this now so it doesn't disrupt the show. Thank you. And that also allows me to mention that real quick, that this live streaming concept of mine isn't monetized in any way, shape, or form. You shouldn't have seen any annoying ads or anything before or during the show or after. It's not monetized, and monetizing this type of content is borderline impossible, because you guys tend to use samples from wherever, and also sending me beats that you have already submitted to something like DistroKid or whatever. So you have the copyright for it, and then I play the beat on the show, and I'm getting a copyright claim from you, but you didn't even know about it. It's a whole thing. It's definitely a whole thing. So this is not monetized, which means everything is appreciated in terms of becoming a member on the channel, or doing a super chat or a super thank. Is that even possible on live shows? I don't know. We are live streaming anyways. And, if you can't contribute in any, financial way, that's totally fine too. So yeah, cool. Kane TV, Beat Owl, Made So Well, Illinois, and KGP. Did you change your username? James Rockwell. We have been in touch. I appreciate the email, and you got a reply this morning. Yeah. Appreciate you a lot. I do. Illinois, Dale. We don't have Moran, and we don't have Chris52. We don't have some of the other regulars here, which is fine. Showing up to this loosey-goosey kind of live streaming situation is not mandatory for anyone, but I do appreciate the support, for real. Raphael, you have also been submitting beats, if I'm not mistaken. Salberts is in the house. Good evening to you, my friend. Beat out. I complained a lot about my live situation in my last live stream, about me just making beats. We're not going to go there, but I'm getting a lot of support from people, getting emails and DMs and whatever, and I appreciate it a lot. I really do. You guys are awesome. Having somewhat of an audience on YouTube has allowed me to make some real connections with people that are just beautiful. It's a magical, cool thing. Now, accessing my website tool and kind of getting into everything over there is not the easiest thing ever. Out of straight security reasons, and everything makes sense. It's not that, but it's just a little frustrating to never have access to my stuff all at once. Getting verification codes on email and sometimes on my phone and whatever. Then when I'm going back to the thing to write it, to type it in, it's not there anymore because I changed windows. All sorts of shenanigans going on over here. That's just life as a tech savant, I guess. Accurate Beats, that's my verification code over there. Verify, and it's obviously the wrong one because it's a pop-up window. So let's leave that one over there. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing this for a couple of minutes just to make sure that everything is aligned and working, which it's not at the moment. So please be patient. This is just gonna be a headache for all of us. Sometimes I've been able to do this in beforehand, but today it's just been a whole mess of a day. So I'm doing this live on the stream. Talk amongst yourselves, you know. But yeah, I will be announcing the opening of the form pretty soon. Made so well. That's right. That's gonna happen in just a couple of minutes. But doing all the administration work over here is time consuming. Let's just say that. And yeah, I know there are a lot of different ways to go about this, but this is the way I've chosen to do things. So there we are. We need to go to that page. And I can't because I'm in the editing window. So I need to go there. Boom. There we are. Working on things, working on things, working on things. Like so. And that one needs to be linked up to that one. Cool. But I also need access to the email. And you guys can't see that. So let's do this. Haha. Now you can see my keyboard. Now you can't. You know? That's a life hack. And that's the wrong password. How? I did this a couple of days ago. I need another verification code. Of course I do. You know, internet security is definitely an important factor in life, and we all need to do it. But all the different verification codes and stuff is kind of a headache. Password management. Password managing software is also a whole ordeal. I already did the two-step verification. Can I just go? Yes, I can. Haha. Cool. So, excuse me for doing all that. It's just a necessary step to get everything going. But if you are still here with me, and you seem to be, because we do have a few people watching, cool. Your video frame is misplaced. Yeah, because I tried to hide the keyboard from you guys, all the sneaky peeky people out there. So yeah, it needs to be set up over there. So we have that one without that one, of course, and we have that one. Huh. Also with the logo. Accurate. Cool. So we are about to the Chris Rock clap, slap, who knows. So we are about to do this for real. The beat review is on its way. I'm now at a point where I can just hit update on my website thing, and it's going to be live for you guys to start submitting beats. Just gotta say this before everything goes live real quick. If I end up getting too many beats at once, I'm not going to be able to cover everything, so it's pretty much first come, first served, you know? And the goal is to do this for 2 hours and to cover as many beats as possible, but I'm also kind of crazy to go, you know, heavily into the details about everything, having opinions about too many things at once. And sometimes you go crazy too in the chat room and just typing away stuff that I need to read and whatever. So it's not going to be quick and easy. It's going to be slow, but hopefully valuable for some of you guys out there. And I'm going to have a lot of fun. So, you know, I'm going to do it the way I see fit, whatever. But And I know we also have a delay between what I do and what you do because of internet and whatever, but I'm gonna update my website right now. So at the point where you see this, you should be able to go into the website, accuratebeats.com, go to Beat Review and refresh the page, and there should be this big text saying send beats here. Click that one and it takes you to the form where you can submit your beat. I'm gonna get it in here and it's gonna be covered, hopefully. So the submission form is now live, to be totally clear about that. The submission form is now live on accuratebeats.com. Boom. It's over there too. accuratebeats.com. Cool. Now we're just playing a waiting game. Normally I have this form thing open for just a couple of minutes, and that's enough to get like 15, 17, 20 beats to cover on the channel, and the emails are now just coming in, which is really cool to see. Already we have, let's update the website, the email, because yeah, everything arrives to me as emails, but in this nice, concise way. Is that updated? Yep, 11 of them already. And I'm soon gonna freak out about having more beats than I'm gonna be able to cover, but that's just what this show is all about. Whoa, me freaking out about the number of beats. Shorty87 says, I just have the WAV file and it's too big. Yeah, I tried to, I always try to give that information out there, that it's it's limited to 10 megabytes. So it needs to be a compressed file of some sort, MP3, whatever. Salbert's mailbox goes boom. Yeah, kinda. I'm getting a lot of beats into this little thing, and it's awesome. It's great. And I am catching a cold again, so it's gonna be a lot of like weird noises and stuff. That's just a byproduct of being me, living in Sweden, being all cold and everything. It's supposed to be spring right now, but it's cold as fuck. And you start not using your winter coat anymore, and like I'm just wearing like a windbreaker, and I'm getting cold, and it's, I'm getting sick. Always. Now, we are gonna close it right there. And the link is not remove link. Not even that. Let's replace it with beat review. Like, no. Like that. Cool. Save. And the form is now officially closed. Again, delay between me and you, and if you were already at the page, it's not gonna just die. The link that takes you to the place is not gonna be functional anymore. So if you're already in there, take your time, submit your beat. But honestly, we already have 18 beats coming in, which is too much to cover in an episode. So first come, first served, as I said. I'm trying to be all democratic about this and letting everyone have their shine and like taking time to cover everything, which is not always going to be possible. I've had people saying like, yeah, I sent it in like the first few seconds of it being live, and I still got covered like at the end of the show. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. I can't be held responsible. I guess I can, but I just refuse to be. I just refuse to be held responsible. Yeah, that's a good thing. He accepts 10, and mine are always just over 10 megabytes. Yep. And that's not me. That's my website, Squarespace kind of functionality that's limiting you guys to submit beats that are more than, or files in general that are more than 10 megabytes. And some people are like just ignoring that and just, you know, pasting a link to a YouTube video or a SoundCloud link. And I'm not covering that. I want to make that clear. I'm not covering stuff like that. It's all done this way, and it needs to be done this way. It needs to be an MP3 file and submitted to the actual form. I'm not following links. That's just, you know, internet security and time management and all that. And we are now rounding off this thing. Cool. We have a few beats to listen to and to cover and to analyze and break down and criticize or praise and just enjoy. And that's what this little forum is all about. What are you guys saying? Fingers crossed. Let's go. Talking about Slice X. Huh. Cool, cool. VLC is my media player for this kind of shenanigans. Cool. So, what do you guys think? Are we ready to start playing beats? I think we are. Just gotta make sure that I'm doing it in the right order. 5 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 1 minute ago. Okay. We officially have too many beats to cover in this episode. I'm not even gonna lie. Too many beats. Too many beats. So, let's get into the first one, right? And the first beat, the first submission for today comes from someone called Conrad KGP, who should be available in the chat room. So, that's nice. He says, or she, Conrad. No, that's a guy. Hey there, here's a little beat I made for an upcoming collab with a rapper. What do you think of this? All the best and thanks for your feedback. KGP, aka Conrad. Downloading the file as we speak. It's already downloaded because I'm blessed with having pretty good internet. And there we are. Came in a little bit loud, I think. So, and the way this works, you know, I'm not going to tell anyone to do anything specific, but please don't be mean to each other. If someone submitted a beat that's just not good, that's fine, but tell him or her in a nice way. Let's try to be constructive about it. Some of us are beginners who hasn't like made beats for more than a couple of months or weeks or whatever. Some people are borderline professionals. People who has made music for, 15 years. And we're allowing anything to come through. So keep that in mind. People might be really new to this, or people might be seasoned producers. It's open to everyone, which is a part of the thing. So let's not be mean to anyone. Let's keep things civil and let's be nice about things. What's that in the corner of the ceiling? A studio monitor? Has an LED or something? Yeah, that's just the photo light. That one over there. Which reminds me that I think I want to change up the vibe in here. By doing that? No. Oh, maybe. That's kind of cool just as it is. Or maybe let's... Okay. This interface for this light thing, I'm not a huge fan. That feels a little bit cooler to me. The blue turned white again. Blue. White. Blue. Now it's blue. Cool. So let's have a listen to the first one. Who was... I gotta remind myself again. I need to keep track on things. Conrad KGP, a beat for a rapper, and he wants us to listen to it. So let's listen to it.
I can take care of myself. but I can take care of myself. Think that's funny, huh? I'm sorry, sir, but the person you are trying to reach is not here. Think that's funny, huh? I can take care of myself. I don't think, but I can take care of myself. Think that's funny, huh? I'm sorry, sir, but the person you are trying to reach is not here. Think that's funny, huh? I can take care of myself. I don't think, but I can take care of myself. Think that's funny, huh? I'm sorry, sir, but the person you are trying to reach is not here. Think that's funny, huh? Think that's funny, huh?
All right, that's kind of cool. So that's Conrad KGP. Thanks a lot for sending this one in. And I think that's a good or even a great way to start this show. This is not a bad beat by any means, but as always, finding things to nitpick and, you know, I have opinions, and that's one of the things I do in here on this concept. This is a nice beat. The entire vibe of the thing is cool, kind of cinematic and kind of evil, kind of dark, but still not too, like, you know, not dark that it becomes theater or like not genuine, you know? I like it. A few things I want to point out that I'm kind of like having a little bit of an issue to not notice. In the main loop on the first section over here, I feel like the hi-hat on the backbeat is a little bit, or maybe even a lot, too loud to my taste. The way I see it, it's just hard to kind of take my focus out of it because it's a little bit too loud and sticks out and it bugs me a little bit. But, you know, we're splitting hairs at this point. The production ideas were good, says Dale, and I agree. The production ideas and everything is solid. It's all in there. It's cool. Mixing-wise, things could be improved. Lacking a little bit of clarity somehow, and it feels like it should have a little bit more punch in some elements. Like, I know what you're trying to do with the snare drum together with the kind of weird percussion stuff, but adding a little bit of higher frequencies or just a little bit of compression on the snare drum to make it come through a little bit would probably balance this backbeat hi-hat that I'm talking about to a point where it would be easier or like make more sense to listen to, like being more concise. But the ideas and the notes and everything in there, all the bass lines, the bass line, I should say. everything just follows along nicely. The bass line and the chords and everything is just the same, and it works without being too boring because you have the fun stuff going on in the percussion parts of it, and also those scratch sessions works really well. What's really interesting about this is over here, I think. Yeah. I love that idea. Having that kind of modulated arpeggio pattern going on breaks off the entire thing in a really good way, a really good and pleasant way. But when it comes back around to kind of add to the general loop of it all, it feels like it doesn't really come together the way I want things to come together. So like the arpeggio pattern works really well in itself, but together with everything else, it just feels like there's a weird mishmash going on between like the rhythm and the feeling, the groove of the loop and the arpeggio. So maybe adding a little bit of swing to it would make it come together in a different way. Listen, I might also be wrong. Having that many things going on at once could work really well, especially when you've already like, I mean, it's made for a rapper, so it's basically like an entire section for the verse, I guess, and then this comes in as like a chorus or maybe just a B section. And if you would have put this arpeggio in at the beginning of it, I would feel like, yeah, it's too messy and it's too much. But in the context, I think it works, but there's just something about the rhythmical aspects of the thing that doesn't really come together exactly the way I would want things to come together. But you know, it's art, it's all subjective. I might be wrong. But you know, if it's like a programmed VST that generates the arpeggio, you should have a swing setting. Just try to play around with that and see if it matches the thing up better. I don't know. What are you guys saying about this? I personally like the choice of the hi-hat. Fine. Cool. That's you. I feel like it's a little bit annoying, I guess. But, you know. Yeah, the arpeggio with the synth is really cool. Yeah. But am I wrong in saying that it doesn't really work with the rhythm of the loop? Or am I being too critical? Putting myself in this position to like judging things, I know the music I make isn't always that great either, but listening to other people's stuff is cool. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, you know? In general, the mixing here is, I don't think it's bad. You know, there's a nice balance between the bass and the not bass and everything else. It's nice. You should have dropped the drums and the bass, then just ARP and brought the beat back. Yeah, maybe, but you're introducing it in kind of a nice way too. I don't think that's a bad choice. You know, that's always really effective to go dum 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 dum. That's not bad. And we received a super chat from KGP, the producer of this one, saying, "Thanks for the feedback, really appreciate it." And a happy smiley face. Cool, thank you. And thank you for submitting a beat and blessing us with that listening experience. And I think it's a really good way to open up this show. A nice, concise, well-produced beat that could be pointed out. You know, a few small things could be pointed out the way I'm trying to do it. And that's nice. Thanks a lot. Boom. On to the next one. if people doesn't have more stuff to say. Well, yeah, cool. So the next one comes from HBR36. Hey, Accurate, I hope you're good. I take my chance and apply again this week. This track is part of a project I'm working on for a few months. The name of the beat tape will be Ugly. And I think it describes it well. This beat is made with my trusty MPC Live 2. The idea of the project and this track is to explore some sneaky and grimy vibes. Hope you like it. From Belgium. HBR36. Cool. Calling it Ugly works for me. Let's play this one too. Yeah. Nice. Nice and dark and cool and kind of scary, but again, not too much. And historically, we've had a lot of beats coming into this show with, like, people are going all crazy with the bass, like doing way too loud bass lines in general. Sometimes way too quiet and whatever. This one is also really balanced in the way I hear it. The bass line is there and it's obvious, but it's not too much. It's nice balanced. And you know, this type of slow beat with like an early hi-hat and the whole like dragging thing going on is cool. Having those chords and that kind of, you know, the string sample with a lot of tension and stuff just brings the entire vibe into like, yeah, this is made for a beat tape for sure. The track is called Bad Day and the project was called Ugly. And you know, it's not supposed to be beautiful music when you pitch things like this. Like, listen to the actual notes and the pitch of these in the beginning here. That's a scary movie, right? Darkness in the woods and all that. The sound is really cool. And the pitch wobbliness just adds a lot of vibes and feeling. Then we have the drums and the bass. Yeah. Someone pointed out like Griselda / Doom And I mean, sure, having a rapper like MF Doom or people like the Griselda crew, yeah, adding a lot of like grittiness and evil energy to it would make sense. But to me, it also holds up really well as an instrumental, just as it is. Having this one on headphones, just getting into the zone, has a lot of, that's cool about these music that's not like over the top, busy with stuff. Keeping it simple, keeping it nice, going with a feeling more than just, all of the advanced musical techniques in the world. To me, that's effective. It comes out really strong. I'm not calling this minimalistic per se, but there's not a lot of elements going on. Vocal samples or scratch sounds or like a lot of funky percussive stuff. It's just drums, chords, like the bell sound, and the bass. That's what it is. And the string, this is all about the vibe, all about the groove, all about the feeling, all about the artistic shenanigans. I'm thinking people like Earl Sweatshirt or someone like that. Just being all talky, evil on top of it. Strings and the effects are samples. Piano and bass are not samples. I played the bass and the piano is a Rode VST. Yeah, cool. But also with a lot of like pitch modulation going on. Maybe that's from the VST itself. Maybe it's an effect. I don't even know. But when everything comes together, it just makes sense. It's nice and smooth. It's a nice piece of work. I don't have a lot of bad stuff to say about it. And of course that the ghost snares going like it's cool. It's effective. What can I say? Nice piece of work for sure. There are the perfect amount of elements. Knowing where it's enough, and it's a great skew. I don't know what that means, but yeah. That's the mistake I make. Always. Every single session I do. I always go overboard to add like synthesizers and adding effects and, adding like sound effects. And sometimes you just need to keep it simple. As long as the different elements are strong enough to kind of go into the entire pot of the soup, the outcome is going to be good. I think this is good. And that string sample going so nicely together with the piano chords, I think that's a great piece of job, great piece of work, great piece of job. It's the Stage 73 from Arturia. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Rode plugins too. I also have the Rhodes plugin, the plugin from Rhodes, and it's the best one. But yeah, the Arturia one is awesome, for sure. Good job. And when you keep things that simple and it's that well produced, there's not a lot of stuff to be said, There's not room for me to like talk too much about, the programming of the hi-hat could have more dynamic. Fuck that. It sounds good, and it is what it is, Yeah. So, thanks a lot for sending that one in. A beat from HBR36 from Belgium. Cool. Thanks for being a part of the show. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. I appreciate that camera. Sometimes. Just sometimes. The next one comes from Dale. Dempsey, who has been talking away in the chat room. So let's listen to your music. The message for this one is just love the live show. Thank you. I love it too. One long day too is the name of the track. So let's download the MP3. Let's open it up over there. Let's drag it into VLC and have a listen. Again, from Dale Dempsey. Dempsey, yeah.
Mark your calendar, holiday work week, Mayday, Mother's Day, Doomsday, another day. Teenage love, built a teenage runaway bang. Number 9 off the chart, pretty bullet, ready on the warfare guard. They ghetto, great god, ugly mugly. Maison monster, mash, main course, and cookies. Heads getting beaten over food, getting eaten. This is hydro power in the dry white season. Lord, bring 'em out. See the Cherokee Chief rain dancing through a drought. Cloud break like Shaka Khan. Set it off, my power on. The little light grow large, it don't out at all. Symbolical mall, the chronicle sharp. The jet black Jedi swore. The saga evolves raw. Race up in the place, all in your face. Holiday, shade 45, shade 45. Calendar. Well, if you got what it takes, I'll take what you got. It's my eagle line, the mark, I'ma take a shot. The tiebreaker, game winner, bullseye. Small dose of big most, full time.
So, I feel like me and some people in the chat room will have different opinions on this, and that's fine too. This is an acapella from Mos Def, or Yasin Bey, and I did not nail that, so I asked in the chat room, which is so embarrassing. How couldn't I just, spot that real at on the first few words? Of course, it's Mos Def.
Mark your calendar, holiday work week, Mayday, Mother's Day, Doomsday, another day. Teenage love, built a teenage runaway bang. Number 9 off the chart, pretty bullet.
Yasin Bey for sure, most definitely. This is a nice beat, but what I'm gonna say here that I think some of you guys will not agree with is that I think Dale was the producer here, right? I think Dale was a little bit overconfident in the bass line. Not that it's not good, but just the fact that everything else on the beat is also really good. So to me, the bass line takes a little bit too much space in the mix, in general, overall. And some of you are listening to this on like bigger speakers with a subwoofer and stuff, and that's gonna sound different. But in my headphones at this spot right now, the bass line just feels a little bit too loud, because the beat itself has more cool elements in there that doesn't really take the space they deserve. So it's not necessarily that the bass line is too loud, but that everything else drowns out, I never heard the acapella before. It just fit the BPM of 80. Cool. Sometimes that's just what happens, and it just makes sense with the acapella.
Ready on the warfare, they ghetto, great god, ugly mugly. Maison monster, mash, main course, and cookies. Heads getting beaten over food, getting eaten. This is hydro power in the.
That little choir, that vocal thing, and the guitar stuff in the background, everything is nice. Everything is really cool, and I want to hear more of it. That's what I'm saying. The bass line is really nice too. Don't get me wrong. The bass line is really, really nice. But the way this is mixed, it feels like more you know, it just feels like you're relying too heavily on the bass line. And just taking it down a few decibels and just rebalancing things would give it a different sound. Maybe that's a worse sound, and maybe that's why you did what you did. I don't know. But to me, it feels like, you know, it could be adjusted that way. But having the drums you use for this, like the tiny little snare just being in there.
Dry white season, Lord, bring 'em out, see the Cherokee Chief rain dancing through a drought, cloud break like Shaka Khan, set it off my power on.
Just adds to the feeling, the vibe of things. It sounds simple. It sounds easy to listen to, easy to enjoy. A good little beat to support Mos Def in this case. It's really good, really great.
Little light grow large, it don't out at all. Symphonical mall, the chronicle shark, the jet black Jedi.
Different variations, different things going alongside with the snare drum sometimes. It's 2 drum breaks layered. Oh, even more impressive. Cool. I did a ton of processing to the bass guitar. Yeah, sure. And it comes through, and it's good. It just takes up a little bit too much space in the mix, in my feeling. In my opinion, it was totally worth it, says Kane TV. And I agree. Doing a lot of processing to a bass guitar from a sample like this, I'm not surprised to hear you say that. The bass line was sick and totally for the beat. Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm not saying that I don't like the bass line. I'm saying that I love the bass line, but I love everything else too. And that camera is not responding the way it should. So let's go back to that one. You know, 2 drum breaks layered, and it still sounds this laid back. That's impressive.
All the saga evolves raw, race up in the place, all in your face.
Yeah, that's a drum break for sure. A switch up like this is cool.
Holiday,
And a total switch up. It goes so nicely with the acapella. It's crazy. That's a 3rd drum fill. Yeah, I understood that. If we all had the same opinion, it would suck. Yeah, sure. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the bass line. I just think it takes up too much space, you know? Takes the focus out of everything else that's good. Let me just fix that camera.
Well, if you got what it takes, I'll take what you got. My eagle line, the ball, come and take the shot. The tiebreaker, game winner, bullseye. Small dose of big most, full time.
When it all comes down to it, it's a nice piece of music, and I think most of us agree. The bass is a sample. Nice. Still, could be adjusted in volume. I don't know, I'm talking out of my ass again. It's a fine track, says Lucid. And I agree, it's a fine track. You know, processing a bass line like that to get it to stand out like that is cool. And doing the amount of work to make it fit with the sample, nice. Nice. Now, let's move on to yet another piece of music. Another beat from someone who wants to be featured. The next one comes from JRZ Beats. Hi, Accurate. Happy to be back and listening to the show. I have been working on my new album the last few weeks, and I needed a Rick Ross type vibe for one of the songs. Made this one from scratch with no samples, and I'm very proud of it. Not looking for anything in specific in terms of feedback, but wanted to share it. No need to heavily harp on my beat if you need to save time. You know me too well. You know me too well. This is what I do every single show. You get into the details. I'm talking too much about everything. For this one, we don't need to be too crazy about it. You just wanted to share it, and fine. I guess I'm still gonna leave some feedback if I have any, but let's first of all listen to it. From JRZ Beats. No. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Yeah, cool. So we're playing about 2 minutes of the tracks, and this was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You know, you were really proud of this one, and it doesn't have any samples. It's made from the ground up with the instruments. And to me, you are kind of nailing the entire vibe of using samples without using samples. Having a lot of different sounds going nicely together to create this entire like vibe and thing. It's really good stuff. It feels nice and clean in the way I like it. Dirty and gritty and like distorted is cool sometimes, but you know, I have this clean sound to my productions most of the times because that's the way I like things to be, you know. This is nice and clean, and you also have different clear obvious sections here, made for like a verse, I guess, and then made for like a chorus. And the swell that goes from one section to the other, we need to find that again. It's really cool. Not that. No. The amount of like counter melodies going on sounds like samples, you know? And that on the crash cymbal definitely sounds like it's, you know, taken from a drum break and just reorganized and just made up like that, but you didn't. It's manually done with instruments and stuff. Awesome. Really great stuff. Thanks a lot for submitting this one from JRZ Beats. You're not looking for any specific type of feedback, but sure, what I can say is that I like this one a lot. Nice and clean, sound sampled, but not sampled, and a lot of things going on without being overwhelmingly much. Nice job. And the next submission, let's just move right into the next one, comes from someone we've had before, Raw Digs, who is in the chat room, if I'm not making a mistake. Raw Digs, hello dear Accurate. Here's another beat for you to check out. I hope it brings you all some great moments. I love the show. Peace to us all. Raw Digs has been featured before and has never submitted something that we didn't like as a community, you know? So let's see what he came up with today. Let's go.
Em toda a região do estado, é o medo de todo o Brasil.
Damn. Well, fucking show off, you know? What really sticks out with this one to me is like how great the placement of the bass line is. I guess it's just compressed, you know, heavily compressed. But the way the bass line like works with everything here just makes me so happy. And like having so much stuff going on at once, but still keeping it musical, still keeping it, you know, it's still a harmonic piece of music. It's still melodic and it's still nice, but there's a lot of stuff. You know, me pointing out the bass line, first of all, it's just because, yeah, what you did with the bass line to hide it like that, but still giving it enough space to like shine, that's impressive, just as it is, just boom, flat out. But also like it's obvious that this one is made by someone who had a lot of fun making it, you know? This is just a producer having fun. Just hitting all the right points, doing all the right things, knowing his craft. And we have had you on here before, and I've said like similar things. This is production on a really, really high level. For sure. The way it just goes together. Sometimes I'm talking about, yeah, that needs to be glued together. It doesn't hold up. And this is the opposite of that. Everything here just makes total sense. There's a lot of things going on. I'm noticing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm realizing all the things in there. The tiny scratch things, the vocal, the stuff with the drums. You know, it's a heavily produced track, but you did everything right. This one was made to be an instrumental track. And of course, like, there's not space for a rapper. I don't think. Okay, there could be a rapper on top of this, but definitely not necessary. It's obvious that you made this one, like, you made this one in order to like keep it instrumental. And this is, oh, sorry. Yeah, Accurate is dying over here. Sorry about that. Ugh. Whew. I'm okay. I'm okay. Again. And since you're obviously here, are you, this is just me being curious. If you want to answer, please do. If you don't, you don't have to. How much side chaining compression is there going on in here? To me, it's hard to like hear that. If it's like sidechain compression or if it's just a lot of automation and smart programming, you never know. Borderline too much stuff happening at once. If you just start it over here at this point, but when you hear the entire piece of music, not a problem. The horn sample definitely has sidechaining going on. Sidechain on the bass and the main sample. Yeah. You know, this might be one of those cases where, like, the first, like, half an hour, or I don't even know if you are really quick, but the bass is not a sample. Fine. This could be one of those situations like, yeah, the main idea for the beat is strong, but at the beginning of making this track, I'm sure it didn't sound this cool. Because, you know, you have the main ideas for how the sample is supposed to be chopped up with the bass line and stuff, and then there's a lot of mix and a lot of trickery going on just to make it this concise and this full and this well produced. So to me, it sounds like there's a lot of work going in there, but enjoyable work. You know, working on something like this is just fun. And you played the bass yourself. Yeah, okay, let's listen to the bass again. Yeah, nice stuff. I could talk about this beat for hours, and let's not. We all know that Raw Diggs is one of the, I'm just gonna say it, one of the best producers we have in this show of mine. He shows up every now and then and always gives us something really cool to listen to. So thanks a lot for being here, and thanks for submitting. Raw digs, I definitely see you out there. This is great stuff. Great stuff. But let's move on to the next one. And just because we've had a lot of great beats so far, everything's not going to be on this level, and it's not supposed to. You know, we have to like allow everyone to have the same amount of space. Not the same amount of, no. We need to let everyone live and everyone be here. So let's not expect everything to be on this level. That would be crazy. The next submission comes from JRZ Beats. Hi, second beat I'm sending. Sample-based MPC. I wanted to sample soul music for so long, but I froze for quite some years. Did other things, didn't dare to try. Finally last year, I made a few of them and I had so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I can't wait for your opinion. For your honest opinion. Rare are the people listening to my music. It's so great to share it. Thanks for this, Accurate. Peace. So I guess what you're saying is that you're not getting a lot of feedback, and that's a problem these days. Everyone makes beats, and no one has time to listen to beats. You know, that's just the truth of it all. But here we're gonna enjoy your music, and we're gonna talk about it. Again, from JRZ Beats. Let's play it.
Blind man standing on the corner until you bring back the blue. I just don't wanna see. Don't know. I just don't wanna see.
Yeah, man.
I can't let her go.
Fucking hey. Puts me in such a good mood, you know? This type of like super bombastic, large, like energetic, really cool stuff. And this is one of the benefits of using soul samples, you know? When you have something this big and this large and this majestic and you just chop it up and just put awesome stuff. Awesome sample to begin with, sure, but also awesome amount of work put in here.
Until you bring back the blue.
Just over here.
Just don't wanna see. Don't know.
Immediately. Neck starts going. Ooh. Awesome stuff. You know, the problem with stuff like this is that it could become too much. Like, too energetic, too aggressive, too much. Because there's a lot of hits, you know. Bomb, ba bomb, bomb. Could become a little bit too much. Could be you could develop air fatigue. And then you have this switch up that makes a lot of sense and is really cool. This entire triplet feel over here. It's still loud and there's still a lot of stuff going on, but just switching up the entire groove like that, going from a pretty straight drum pattern to the triplet feel, and then switching back to the normal stuff. It's just, yeah, it's a great switch up. Still keeping the energy, still keeping the aggression and everything, but in a different way. And then going back to what it used to be. Awesome. If this was, you know, excuse me, but if this was the entire beat like this, that would be really cool too. But I would have said something like, yeah, I want a more broken down part. Like dropping out the drums, giving us a little bit of space to breathe. And instead, you did all this. Which has a similar kind of feeling, but a whole different groove and a whole different thing. Whew. This is a banger, and everyone in the chat room seems to just agree. This is good stuff. Old school, aggressive hip hop, you know, talking about old school MOP or whatever. And works as an instrumental too, for sure. I'm breaking my neck right here. Yeah, me too. These kinds of beats, you know, for someone like me, I definitely have a soft spot for stuff like this. Super aggressive, super in your face, like loud and punchy and like all that. It's just so cool. No. And there are more switch ups in here that I'm like pointing out. Of course, different patterns, different things going on. Everything with the vocal coming in and out like that. Really cool. Really, really impressive. JRZ Beats, you made a definite banger out of this. 100%. 100%. What else did you say in your email? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think we all did. I think we can agree on that. We all enjoyed this one. There's always going to be one hater out there, but, you know, something like this, I salute you. Hands down. JRZ Beats, thanks a lot for sending it in. And someone said during this beat, what's happening tonight? And that's a good question, you know? Have we had anything today that wasn't like awesome? I don't think so. We are operating on a really, really high level, and I'm just blessed by having you guys around me, and I'm just so humbled by having producers in here that are providing us with so much great music. It's a blessing for sure. Now, the next one in line is Renee Mayer, who has been featured before. Hey, Accurate. I hope you in the community like my newest beat. I just got an SP404 Mark II, and I really like it. Sample is from TrackLib. This is Kane TV in the chat room, who has been featured before, and also a producer operating at a really high level. So let's see what this is. Oh. This is nice. And it fades out. So it really feels like we're doing a radio show right now. You know? And the filter. Applying a filter on a fade out like that is smart. Becomes more than just a fade out, you know? So that's a beat from Kane TV. Thanks a lot. And thanks for doing that fade out, making me feel like a real radio show, radio host. Awesome stuff. And to me, you know, we just have to talk about this real quick. I'm always talking about dynamics in terms of the loops and the beats, and also dynamics in the arrangement. And for a beat like this, you know, I heard it once, so I might be wrong, but it sounds like it's basically one loop going over and over and over. And applying automation, like lifting the volume of stuff, taking down the volume of stuff, creating dynamic parts like that, different parts of the arrangement. Like the background Rhodes chords just feels like something in the background. And then all of a sudden you lift that out and you turn everything down and you just replace the position in the mix between like the main da-dum-dum-dum-dum melody part and the bass line, of course, and just playing the chords, allowing them to take the space. And to me, that's a really smart way of working with arrangement. You don't always have to create a whole, oh, okay, that's my bad, like that. That's a clever little way to create variation when it's not really there. Just allowing the listener to focus on different parts, on different sections of the music. That's a nice trick. And it's utilized, it's not as utilized as it should be, I think. I think you did a great job. This track is nice and cute, and it's nice and spacious. allows your mind to wander. And as a listener of something like this, as just a casual listener, it just feels like a nice, cohesive, well put together, well thought out piece of music. But when you think about the different details and the different elements here, trying to like isolate parts, it's obvious that there's a really good and a really cool call and response thing going on with a main Rhodes melody and the bass line. Really, really cool. And the bass line is really nice. And, you know, having a good balance between a cute melody like that and an interesting bass line for a call and response kind of thing, awesome. Dim 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 dim. That's the piano, and then dum 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 on the bass. Cool. Good work. I keep coming back to the word smart or clever in this case because it feels well put together and well thought through. Really good. Kane TV is going crazy in the chat, describing what it did. It's a sample. It's your first beat on the SP404. Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. What turntable sitting on top of that monitor has been driving me crazy for weeks? The one over there? Yeah, that's the Handy Tracks Play. The one I made a video about like a month or 1.5 months ago. Korg Handy Tracks Play. Korg Handy Tracks Play. That's the turntable over there. So yeah. Kane TV, I actually created a completely fully overloaded beat and then subtracted for the quieter parts. Okay, cool. That's also a way to go about working with arrangements and stuff. Awesome. Not the biggest fan of the SP workflow myself, but I love when people know how to use it. Yeah, and this was your first beat on the SP404, which tells us even more about you, you know? Again with the camera. Awesome stuff. The bass line is impressive, and I think the entire composition is clever, smart. And it's nice, and it has this cinematic vibe to it. This could go very well with inside of a movie, you know? And the tremolo, the really deep tremolo on Rhodes piano like that is never a bad idea. Never. So thanks a lot, Renee or Kane TV, for submitting yet another beat, showing off your fantastic compositions and beats. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. And the next one is from Leonardo Basso. I wanted to do something in the style of Texture. I hope I got it right. The beat is called flute.mp3. So let's have a listen to this one from Leonardo Basso. yeah. Leonardo Basso coming through with this one. I mean, it's difficult for me to not go into the whole, like, it sounds like a medieval track, or it sounds inspired by Swedish folk music, because it has parts of that. A lot of people are pointing out video games like Skyrim vibes, or this is the main menu music for an indie game. And yeah, it could be. There are a lot of things going on here that you kind of need to look for in order to really appreciate. I think it's over here. You know, I'm thinking of Baldur's Gate 3 or something. Like a role-playing video game. A CRPG of some sort. You know, swords and daggers and potions and stuff. This could very well be used as a sample for a more boom-bappy, lo-fi kind of beat. Definitely. But when we're talking about like sound design and different harmonics going together, and how one sound can affect how another sound gets interpreted, because just take everything about the flute out of this. It's some kind of guitar or harp or something like that, and bass. Some percussive elements and the flute. But the way like the overtones of the flute works with the bass line and creates this, you know, it tells a story somehow, and it's cool. This is not a beat in the normal like way of using the word, because we do all these type of thing. It's nice and it's cool. It could be used as a sample for sure. It's a nice composition. It tells a story. It brings out a vibe. Me being like all classic, going, you know, Baldur's Gate and Skyrim type of stuff. Sure. But it's nice, and in a live show like this, it's really nice and valuable to have something that just breaks us out of this, you know, 4/4 type of beat stuff. It's nice. It would be interesting to hear this one flipped for a hip hop track. Some big taiko drums could work, but could also completely change the vibe. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to do with something like this, but as it was presented to us like this, it's nice. It's good. And like balancing the mix of something like this is really crucial to get everything right. And I think you did a great job. Thank you, Leonardo Basso. That one's appreciated in a different type of way, but still really appreciated. And moving on to the next beat, because what are you guys sending? One day I will send a normal beat. This is the producer of this one. One day I will send a normal beat. Haha. It's been a while since I did one though. Yeah, but give it a try. Because a normal beat could also be really fun to hear from you. If this is what comes out of you, it would just be cool to hear it in content. You know. The next one comes from MTL Jan. Hi, thanks again for what you're doing for us. Big love from Scotland. This beat is 80% finished. I made it on my holiday in Portugal this week. I hope you like it. Yeah, me too. Let's all hope we like it, because it wouldn't be fun to listen to 2 minutes of bad music. And that hasn't happened yet. So you never know. The next one from MTL Jan.
feel like I live in the freezer. Cause when on a summer's night, I'm fine, I'm happy, breathing.
That should be louder. It's not. Whatever. So, prison plus 0.75. Whatever. From MT... No, okay. Too many windows. Too many windows at once. That's a cool submission from MTL Jan. You know, has a little bit of Spanish vibes to it, which is never a bad thing in this case. And, you know, it sounds really well produced just because of the wide way of using the frequencies. Nice and punchy, crispy, like crackly drums, together with the, you know, the guitars and the grooves and everything, and the bass, of course. This is cool. For music like this, it would be really beneficial and fun to know how the vocal like corresponds with the sample from the beginning. You know, is the vocals taken from the sample and does it make sense in the original song, or is it something completely different? You know, it holds up really well over here.
Feel like I live in the freezer.
This is good. And since I'm a beat maker myself, I know how difficult it could be sometimes to get things to align in terms of the groove and the rhythm. And in this case, it feels like the vocals sits perfectly with everything else, which makes me think like, is the sample and the vocal from the same track and it goes together just like this and you just added the drums, or what's going on? You know, are we talking about like a lot of chops or just a main loop? Not saying that's wrong, you know me, you could very well use samples, but it would just be fun to know how this piece of music is put together. It sounds crispy and nice and clean and finished and really good. For sure. But if we took this entire production and like replaced all these crispy, nice sounding hi-fi drums with like a hard drum break instead, like breakbeat type of old school drums, that would of course give the entire thing a different vibe. Would it be better? Would it be worse? I don't know. It's just a fun thing to think about. If we replace the entire drum track with something more gritty and something more, you know, like a classic kind of b-boy breakbeat, what would happen? And this part, it's so, musically, it's so good. So good. And that section could be like a flute, like the one we heard in the last track. One of those types of flutes and classic breakbeats. That would become like an old school breakbeat kind of party track. In this case, it feels modern, it feels nice and polished and good, but I still kind of want to know what the different parts are and how they go together in the track from the beginning. And I don't even know if I want the answer. I just find it fun to think about. I hate it when it feels like I'm living in a freezer. Isn't that what it says? Yes, it is. It feels like he's living in a freezer. I don't know what that means, but, nice track. I wonder what it would sound like 3 BPMs lower. Huh. And of course, the drum programming here with the 16-note hi-hats, it's cool. It's really good. I have a hard time saying much about this because it feels finished and polished and nice. You said this was 80% finished, made on your holiday in Portugal. Cool. And the main groove here is driven by the bass line, for sure. Nice. Feels like someone who really knows how to make music, Everything from the drums to the bass to the rhythm. Nice and cohesive. Nice and compact little piece of music. Awesome stuff. I love it. Not the style I work in myself, but really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. MTL Jan, thanks a lot for submitting. Now, let's move into the next one from JRZ Beats. No, that's the same email. That doesn't count. So the next one actually comes from Atamonos. Atamonos Backs. We have had you here before. Thanks a lot for sending in another beat. That's awesome. Hello, Accurate. This is a beat made with some samples and scratches. I did it with Akai Studio Black. I used to make beats in Reason. This is the first time with a sampler. The MPC Studio Black. Cool. Atamonos, we have heard you before, and I'm excited to hear what you came up with this week. Atamonos, let's go. Old school. Cool. So that's Atamonos. Thanks a lot for sending this one in, and you have been featured before, and I've said some stuff about your stuff before. And let's try to get into it again just a little bit. We have a few different sections here to kind of break down. The drum programming, I'm not having any troubles with that at all. The drum programming is nice. The drum samples are really specific, you know. At the beginning here, when we have the solo drums, help me out, is that the 909? The rim shot or the clap? I think that's a 909, I'm not sure. To me, it's a creative choice, for sure. It's fine. It's a little bit corny to me, the drum sounds, and I think the entire production here would have been stronger and more interesting if you had different drum sounds. That's just my honest opinion. Primarily the snare. But the atmosphere, the atmospheric stuff that's going on with the different pad sounds and the synths and everything, is really cool and interesting and fun to listen to. But when it's, you know, paired up with these types of drum sounds, I'm just cringing a little bit. Because I'm a nerd, you know, I know my drum sounds somewhat, and replacing these drum samples with something else would take this to a whole different level, making it make more sense in general, I think. But the musical notes and the dissonance going on, everything is not perfectly in tune, it's shifting a little bit, and that's interesting and fun, and it creates tension in a really fun way. You know, some stuff having a lot of reverb on it and being like all spacious and big, and some stuff just coming in there being like I think everything just it creates this nice space that I kind of like being in. Again, giving you a lot of thoughts, and it's interesting. Really, really interesting. And the bass line counteracts with everything, and just, you know, the tension is what I'm focusing on here. The tension is cool. It gives you a sense of space and like confinement at once. I think this entire production could benefit from not having scratch at all. If you want scratch on something like this, I think it would make more sense to keep it super simple. Just with some delay and some effects and stuff. Doing all these crazy tricks with the scratching, for something like this, it needs, to me, I'm not right, but this is just my opinion. If you want these complicated scratch patterns on top of this, it needs to be totally on the beat and really, really tight and concise. And I'm not sure you're nailing that perfectly. Now, some stuff there is offbeat, honestly, and which is a little bit, you know, that's too bad. It could be tighter, even if you need to do like manual editing in a DAW or whatever. Not bad, but I think this beat would be better without the scratch altogether. right there with that bass note. It's a little bit off, but still in the ballpark where it's just spicy and interesting. I like the atmospheric stuff of this. I'm not a huge fan of the snare drum in particular, and I don't think you need this complicated scratch stuff. That's me. The scratching did not really match the beat. That's what I'm trying to say. For a different production, I'm sure it could be used. But for this, it feels like it's a weird mismatch of two things. I'm not a great scratch DJ myself, but I think I have the musicality to do it in a tasteful way. Tasteful is the word here. Scratch, in this case, I think scratch always needs to be done tastefully. I'm not a huge fan of I can appreciate scratch artists like Qbert and the Invisible Scratch Pickles and all that, going like crazy with techniques. But in terms of musicality, I like scratches to be simple and just going with the music. In this case, it doesn't feel like it matches up, Atamonos is in the chat, by the way. I hope I'm not roasting you too hard, man. But in terms of the musicality here, you have me. I'm there, all the way. Drums could be changed. Scratch could be changed, but everything else is, not bad. So that's Atamonos Backs. Thanks a lot for sending it in, and thanks a lot for using my type of lettering in your name, so I can say Atamonos without being totally embarrassed by guessing the name. Atamonos, that's who you are. Thanks a lot. A nice little break to cough. And the next beat comes from Owen Moore. The message is my current WIP, which is work in progress. So this one is from Owen Moore. Let's have a listen. Let's also put it into the actual media player. Like that. Owen Moore. Let's go. So yeah, that's someone having a lot of fun with a MIDI keyboard. Am I right? So, this feels like this is a good beat. A good, solid production. Nothing more, nothing less. At first. But then when you start thinking about it, I was actually, honestly, a little bit afraid that this was pretty much what we were getting. This is not bad. This is good. But you know, at this point, feels like, yeah, solid stuff. Nothing more to it, that's fine. We do need a bass line though. And what I was afraid about here was just getting a bass line that was, you know, following the root note, just being doom, 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 doom. Right? But the bass line is more fun than that. Just from a musical aspect. And it didn't come in. This is the bass. That's an interesting bass line. This is what kind of sets the beginners apart from the more advanced, the more seasoned producers. Because what would make sense here for a beginner is just to follow the root note and just do the simplest possible bass line. You did a little bit more than that. Finding, what's that called? A parallel, I don't even know the language, but just switching up the bass line, not just following the chords, is a really solid choice for this one. And allowing the arrangement to just go on like that makes a lot of sense in this genre and this style of things. It's nice and laid back, it's well produced, and it sounds good. I really like this drum break, and it works in there, definitely. James Rockwell says it's a lazy bass line, and it is. It could be even lazier, even more lazy though. It could follow the root note of the chords in a way more predictable way, and it would just fall flat. So I think you did the right choice here, not to go crazy and not to go like super obvious either. Somewhere in between. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, this is probably the drums from A Tribe Called Quest. Bonita Applebum. Yeah, sure. But who cares? Who cares? It makes sense in this case. And that's what I'm talking about. Someone having fun with a MIDI keyboard. Just finding out different patterns and different small like melodies that goes on top of it. A little bit of finger playing. Makes the entire thing so much more interesting to listen to. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Oh, you're talking about lazy in terms of the rhythm and that it almost falls back and being lazy like that. Yeah, sure. That's what the bass line does in a really cool way. And, you know, using a drum break like this, I don't hate it. Sure, you took it from someone else, but, you know, that's what it is. Could be replaced with something else or whatever. The idea of it and how you use the drum loop in this case, great. And you know, nice and friendly and easy to listen to. Doesn't bother anyone, doesn't stick out anywhere. It's just a nice, solid production. And I do appreciate that. That's a guitar, right? Needs a little bit of reverb. And over here we have the finger melody on the keyboard, and also the guitar that needs some space, some delay or some reverb or something. And this is maybe a little bit much, but it still makes sense when you listen to the entire piece of music. Nice and full and just good stuff across the board. Great job. You know, you could start being like, yeah, it doesn't have that much of a personality, whatever. But since the bass line does that heavy lifting in this, I think it's fine. I think it's good. I appreciate that. Owen Moore, being all Swedish. Owen Moore. Thanks, Owen. Like that one. And the next one comes from Wujun Kim. First time here. Made a funk. Okay. First time here, made a funk mixed with dubstep. Hope you enjoy. Okay. Funk mixed with dubstep. This could be interesting. And it's fun that we're now getting a little bit away from the comfort zone of just straight up hip hop. Let's see what this is. From, who was this? Wujun Kim. Cool. Funk for sure. That's the end of it. I did not expect that. Okay, this was a piece of music, you know. Started out as funk, went into disco, went into dubstep, and back to disco. You know, that's just what it is. This is probably... I'm just guessing here, but it feels like there's a lot of the sample going on in here, like finding loops of it and just putting it together with additional drums and whatever, and that's fine for what it is. I'm almost suspecting AI had something to do with this. This is funkin' cool. I don't hate that. But then we got into the dubstep section of this. And my problem with dubstep in general is that it's too much, too intense, too, like, it's been done, you know, we're over it. But in this case, you didn't go too crazy with the bass, because that's what I normally feel like. A lot of people do this LFO wobbly stuff with distorted bass line. It just becomes too much. In this case, it's almost tastefully done. Almost tastefully. I don't even know, but building up, dropping out. It does feel like the mixing of this doesn't work in the dubstep part of it. I need way more drums over here. it's not bad. I mean, in terms of the work getting into this, making everything work is cool. And it could be a lot worse. It could be way more in your face, being totally annoying, just whatever is happening. But it's just a quick section, and then it's back to this. The bass is cool. You know, I'm not saying that this is AI, but I'm suspecting that AI could have something to do with this. Not that huge of a fan, but whatever, that's a whole discussion in itself. But there's a lot of the sample just being in here. I bet. I'm not sure, but yeah. The horn stabs and everything that's going on is nice and cool, funky and disco-y. I think I would enjoy this entire piece of music more if we didn't have the dubstep section, but that's me being narrow-minded and, you know. Yeah, not my style, says Beat Owl, and Salberts has a headache and needs to go to bed. Yeah, take care of that headache, man. We can't live with having headaches. I did that for a while, so don't. Go to bed, take care. The next beat comes from who I just mentioned, Beat Owl. Just a little jam I like to share with you guys. And of course, if you submit your beat in here, it's going to be shared and it's going to be played. Here goes Beat Owl. Cool. So, yeah, Beat Owl sending us a chiptune kind of vibe. It's called Chiptune Jam. Okay. This is something you're working on right now. And this is cool. In terms of like the sound choices and stuff, it is what it is. I mean, if it's 8-bit chiptune style, it's going to be 8-bit chiptune style, you know? A part of me would want to kind of, I'm not asking you, Beat Owl, because time, you know, but having this entire production, but with like hard-hitting hip-hop drums and some sidechaining and stuff going on, would be really interesting too. This is really cool for what it is, but I'm just thinking, how would I work with something like this, except from, you know, not having the drums in there? And the modulation in the chords behind it all adds to the entire composition in such a cool way. But of course, you know, being in my kind of age and my generation, I'm thinking of Atari and Nintendo games and stuff, you know, and it just gives me such a nice, warm feeling. It's just what it is, being my age. But in terms of music and as a track in itself, this is good stuff. Also that, with some stutters. But also, you know, being me, I like big, bassy kick drums and hard-hitting, slappy snares and stuff. We're not getting that out of something like this, I know. But a part of me just wants to, you know, what would happen if those two worlds met up in a production like this? And he says, I plan to do a track like this, but bigger. Huh. Bassline, maybe? Yeah, that's also a suggestion. Because in terms of frequencies and like sounds in general, we are in a specific area here, you know? We're not getting the low, subby bass lines. We're not getting the crispy... It's all in the middle, towards the top. This is cool. Interesting stuff. And again, a palette cleanser, for sure. So, Hannibal Actor, or Beat Owl, I should say. Thanks a lot for submitting this one, Beat Owl. A lot of fun to listen to. And a really specific genre. You know, a part of me was afraid that this was turning into dubstep too, because that would also make sense to have a switch up that just adds modulation and weirdness, and you didn't, and I appreciate that. Now, we have a few more beats to go, and it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes, kinda. Let's not do all of them, it's not gonna be possible. But here we are, playing the next beat from AD Beats, who says reverb on the snare. You know I'm not a fan of reverb on the snare. What are you doing? Trolling me over here? Forcing me to point out the fact that you put reverb on the snare? It's just a thing. One of those things that I'm just, you know, I'm not a fan. But let's see what you did here. This is from AD Beats. again with the camera. Damn. Nah. Don't put reverb on the snare. I've said that before. And what's funny here is that you combine two things that I've said that I don't like, you know? Reverb on your snare and also like a backbeaty kind of reggae thing. It's just something about me. I don't like bop, 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 bop. But still, I like this beat more than I should. When you introduced that backbeat thing, you lost me completely, to be honest. Before that, I heard the drums in a whole different way. So if I backtrack now and replay it, I think I'm gonna like it less, just because I heard that backbeaty thing. Let's try. No. I still like the first part of it, where it feels like boom, ka, ba-dum, ka, ba-dum, ka, you know? That type of backbeat stuff I'm a fan of, for sure. But when you start introducing the backbeat kind of chord or whatever it is, what? Can't find it, but still. Whatever. It's not a bad beat, and I like it more than I should, but you kind of went too crazy with the snare. The snare drum is loud, and it's reverby, and it takes the main focus. And it doesn't need to, you know? Everything about this is, you know, reggae inspired. The bass line too. Boom, dum, ba-doom, 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 dum, dum, dum. You can. I guess it's a piano going bop, bop, bop. But sure, the vibe is cool. It's in there, but I think the entire mix needs to be shifted around a bit. Like, lower the snare drum and take out the reverb, you know? The reverb is there to prove a point. I don't know. I feel like it's a troll. Are you trolling me with this? The snare is actually part of the sample? What? What kind of samples are you using, man? It's good, but goddamn that snare. Yeah, so everyone seems to agree on that it's a little bit much with the snare, but other than that, it's not bad, you know? Again, the first part is way stronger for someone like me than like the later parts. Oh, there's a lot of filtering going on the bass. It's interesting, but you know, I have a hard time with reverb on snares. It sounds 80s in the worst way possible, pretty much always. And yeah, other than that, it's not a bad production. It's not. It's just, in terms of personal taste, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but who cares about me and my opinions, you know? I'm just wrong 50% of the times. Yeah. Let's leave that one and move on to another one. Or 80 Beats, what are you telling us in the chat room? It's actually part of the sample. I had no choice. The reverb. So the reverb and the snare is on the sample. It's really not a troll. I just hoped I could change his mind on the reverb. Yep. Maybe you can, but not with that submission, you know? And I'm realizing that it's my personal taste talking. And that's just what it is. So yeah, the next beat comes from Cameron Cornelius. Hey Accurate, hope all is well. I go by the name of Sample Dose. This is my first time sending in a beat. Hopefully you get a chance to check it out. Thanks for what you do. And the beat is called Be Wary. And it's opened up over there, and we need to put it in there. And now we're going to have a listen to Sample Dose with his first submission. So that's cool.
Run that sample, baby.
Is that a snare with a little bit of reverb I'm hearing? I'm not going to be that guy. But yeah, this has a lot of cool ideas thrown in there. It's good in a lot of ways, but it needs to be like, it needs to be gone over one more time in terms of the mixing and stuff. To me, the entire experience of listening to this piece of music would have been improved kind of heavily by having an intro, not introducing everything all at once, because it becomes overwhelming. And I guess this is not like arranged and finished like that, but opening up with like the drums, for instance, introducing the bass and then the chords and, just building it up would make this one a pretty large service, I think. Being thrown into it like this. It's not impossible, but it takes a minute to like settle in and understand what's going on. And then when it all becomes clear, it's better. But, mixing of something like this is difficult. I'm thinking about like 2007-ish kind of dance club kind of music with the busy bass drums and everything like that. It's not bad, but the bass drums needs to be worked with somehow. There's a lot of body and a lot of punch and a lot of attack and a lot of deepness. It's just too much.
Run myself away.
It's groovy and funky and cool, but something about the sonics, the sound of the drums needs to be changed, I think, a little bit. I don't know exactly how, but just clean up the EQ on the kick drum and it takes you a long way. But it's also funny how this is 2 chords just going back and forth. Boom. Boom. Dum ba dum 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 boom. It's interesting. And it's impressive to make something that's not crazy repetitive and not impossible to listen to with just 2 chords going from one to the second and back to the first. But since you have the bass notes, boom, 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 and the busy like drum programming, it all makes sense and it's kind of fun to listen to. Together with the vocals and everything, it's interesting and it's fun and it keeps the attention of the listener because it feels really full and really like that. But mixing it from the ground up again, just to find what's wrong about the different parts, would probably make a lot of sense, you know? Thinking about like Timbaland and Justin Timberlake and that kind of stuff, that type of dance music makes sense, and it's not bad, but the mix needs to be worked on and a few things needs to be realigned, and then it could make more sense. But it's a nice piece of music and well produced, not well mixed, but that's a different thing entirely. So what's sad here is that I'm gonna quit soon. We're gonna play 1 more beat, I think, and I have 4 more, and it doesn't make sense to just not include everyone, but I think that's what's gonna happen. But that's what I think right now. We might end up playing all of them, I don't even know. The next one comes from Neil Jack. This is a slow tie remix. So I used the vocals and made the instrumental. Love the beats you make. Oh, thank you. You love my beats? That's not what we're here for, but thank you. So this is a vocal a cappella and you made the instrumental. Cool.
Madness from a boy been chased back badness. Madness from a boy been chased back badness. Madness from a boy been chased back badness. I was like, run on, suck your mum like your dad. Back in the day when I jumped cabs, I got blacklisted, couldn't get one from my gaff. But it's calm as pool, it's cold as nice. When it snows, I'm ghost, 'cause I'm dressed in white. Roll around my ends, screaming off nights. Roll around my ends, and he knows so tired. Slay. Everyone knows about Slay. When I roll in, everyone goes, I know him just 'cause he know my name. Big, when I draw my big blade, it's a twist on me, keep turning your grave like a wrist boss through your face. Pain, get your complaint, belly ache, no space, no caps, no one can imitate, no hoods, no hands, that who you fucking made. Strange situations elevate, or breaks things straight, and even cocaine can't only get one life, no simulator. In the cold, no fans can keep tragic. Nice in what she cash in the attic. Smell the tree like cash in the attic. Hate the wet weed, but I just bag it. Theresa May wanna beat like Branson, making beef from Open traffic. Theresa May wanna beat like Branson, making beef from Open traffic. In the cold, no fans can keep tragic.
I ain't seen much cash in that. Spread the trees like cash in that. Hate the work, but you wanna just bang it. The reason me ain't wanna be like Branson, make it pee from airplane traffic. The reason me ain't wanna be like Branson, make it pee from airplane traffic. Wouldn't throw my shadow. Used to you, man, move like Sparrow. Tunnel vision and this tunnel too narrow. One piece, but I'm moving cattle. Whoa.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. This would have been such a better listening experience for me without the vocals, without the acapella whatsoever. The beat is really cool. Has a lot of really great stuff going on in there, but since we have all this vocal shenanigans going on, it just, it just disappears because it's impossible to keep focus on the music when you have that much rapping going on. The string samples here, I mean, using string samples like this is great, and it's just awesome. The tension it brings to use these slow evolving but still kind of in your face, kind of intense string samples. This section over here, like the intro, promising something that never gets delivered. Still, at this point, I'm expecting hard-hitting, normal hip-hop, boom-bappy type of drums. And then
madness from a boy been chased back badness.
we're kind of getting it, but in this half-tempo, like modern hip-hop kind of vibe. And it's not bad, but the rapping destroys pretty much everything here for me.
Madness from a boy been chased back badness. Madness from a boy been chased back badness. I was like, run, no, suck your mum like your dad. Back in the day when I jumped cabs, I got blacklisted, couldn't get one from my gas.
And to me, it feels like if we heard this as an instrumental and it was made to be an instrumental, you would have a lot of space in there for a proper bass line that takes up some space in the mix and like balances the entire thing out. Because the strings are kind of like, they're kind of high pitched, and just adding a bass line on that is really low with a lot of notes and just interesting in itself, that would have been better to me.
But it's calm, it's cool, it's cool, it's nice. When it snows, I'm dressed in white.
Sure, there's bass in there, but I just want more of a proper bass line, no rapping, and just building it up like that. The drums are really cool and they sound good and it works together with everything else. But, more notes in a bass line that takes up more space. I would have loved to hear that. But thanks a lot for sending this one in. Working with vocals like this is always tricky because it's such a... Either you love it or you hate it. Like the other one with Mos Def. I love Mos Def, which takes the entire thing a step further. This rapper is not really, not really my style of rapping.
Roll around my ends, screaming off nights. Roll around my ends and he knows so tired. Everyone knows about Slay. When I roll in, everyone goes, I know him just cause he know my name. Big.
Love the strings. Really love the strings. 100%. But yeah, also a drop made so well, it says. A drop would have been nice. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe just a section with less energy and less stuff going on. But me and all my opinions and whatever, I can also just go fuck myself because I'm just, But now we have 3 more beats to go through, and I don't think I will. Or will I? Should we keep going? I don't know. Need to think about that. and have a little bit of water. Yeah, all emptied out. That's all we got in terms of water. And maybe that's all we got in terms of beat reviews for this Monday night live stream. I don't even know. We're dropping a lot of viewers, and that doesn't really matter, but still. Yeah. You know what? Because of what I talked about last week, with me like being anxious and depression and whatever words, you know, I'm just gonna cut it right here. I don't, I'm gonna take the liberty to just stop. I told you from the beginning, I'm not gonna be able to cover everything, and I got like 19 tracks, and we have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 beats. I think that's it for tonight, guys. So, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks a lot for submitting your beats. And it's an awesome... I mean, I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. Having the opportunity to just sit here and enjoying your music from you people and just talking like this about them puts me in this really inspired mindset that helps me to create, and hopefully it gives something back to you guys as well. Not that everything I say about all the pieces of music makes sense or is the right way to think about it. You know, that's just not what it is. But I just like sharing my opinions like this. And you guys are helping me out a lot in the chat room, and I think this entire thing is kind of cool. But that's all we have for tonight, guys. Honestly, for real. We're just going to cut it out. I'm not going to sit here and talking about stuff for 10 minutes or whatever. We're just going to cut it. So, again, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for submitting beats. And the way I think about it right now, we're doing this next Monday too. But things could always happen. I'm not promising much. We don't know. We don't know what the future holds. Inshallah. You know? Thanks again, guys. And have a good night. And join us in the Discord, on the Discord server if you want to. The link is down in the description. And this video is going to be live just as a video. So you're going to be able to revisit it. And join the Discord if you want to. Thanks a lot. Peace out. Good night. And let's end with the intro. Because. Peace out. Good night. Woo!